Legends is all of the canon from before the Disney times. In this series, we go back to see what Legends was all about. Communication is a somewhat important thing.
Luke!
In any movie, book, or TV show, it's important to establish the rules of communication. Like a lot of shows and horror movies in the 80s are clear. Phone lines get cut, you can't use the phone.
Mom?
Walkie-talkies have a limited range, and anyone can listen in on radio signals at the right frequency. Unfortunately, in Star Wars, it's not always so clear. Some people have hologram Skype calls, and some people have to deliver physical messages. So how does that all work? And what's this thing called the HoloNet that appears in a bunch of Legends material? The first mention of the HoloNet appeared in 1989 in the Imperial Sourcebook, which was a supplement book for the West End's tabletop game. And even though the internet wasn't in full swing yet in 1989, it's described almost like a radio system mixed with internet, but it kind of predicts things that we have now, like internet video calls and expensive data overages.
I'm not very fond of Jedi. In fact, I hate them.
But before getting into the HoloNet, we gotta learn a few things about communication in the Star Wars universe. Comlinks. Local communication is solved with comlinks, and they can be installed anywhere. Ships, buildings, helmets. It's just a receiver, a transmitter, and a power source. Anyone can make one. And they can reach up to 50 kilometers and can be boosted with satellites for planet-wide instant messaging, like a super-powered walkie-talkie. Vehicle comlinks can reach up to 200 kilometers, and starship comms are even more powerful, reaching hundreds, thousands of kilometers, necessary for starship fleets or to hail a ship or planet from a safe distance. Comms can also be hardwired throughout buildings or ships as an intercom system, because too many metal walls and insulation will interfere with a wireless signal.
We've got to give those fighters more time.
And then there's Subspace, and I don't mean the BDSM kind. Subspace communications use an alternate dimension, called Subspace, to send messages across tons of light years in a much smaller amount of time, inspired by Star Trek Subspace communications. Star Wars didn't borrow that, they just straight up stole it.
We received a subspace message asking us to divert here immediately.
Subspace transmissions are used to communicate instantly between nearby planets in the same system, or to send out distress signals. The strongest subspace transponders can reach up to 100 light years with instant messaging, which is only about this big. And because subspace communications have a limited range, you can't really get across the entire galaxy in an instant. Subspace network relays had to be built to connect everything together. Most of the Republic was connected through these networks, and you theoretically could get a message across the galaxy through these relays, but it still took days or weeks depending on the distance, condition of the relays, and radio traffic from the billions, trillions of messages going through subspace networks every second. It's basically like sending a really slow email. And because subspace transmissions were so easily intercepted, a lot of people still opted to use couriers. It's very common in Star Wars for people to give traders their messages to physically deliver on their trade routes. It's a tried and true method to make sure your message gets somewhere with hopefully not getting intercepted somehow. And then eventually during the Old Republic, the hyperwave transceiver was developed, which has the power to send a message at light speed through hyperspace with unlimited range, allowing for audio and video chat virtually with no delay. The problem with these early hyperwave transceivers though is that they're enormous, cost a fortune, and require tons of power. The only ships that could even fit it were capital warships or large private yachts, and both the sender and receiver needed one. So around 4,000 years before the films, the Senate of the Old Republic commissioned the HoloNet construction project, with the goal of creating a new network of relays that would allow instant data transfer across the entire Republic. But before getting into the HoloNet, here's a short lesson on dimensions. In Star Wars, there are a few different dimensions. Hyperspace is one of them, only accessible by hitting light speed. Then there's real space, which is the known universe. Subspace is the dimension where special communications can be sent at incredible speeds. And then there's other space, a barren, bleak pocket universe that exists between real space and hyperspace. And it's inhabited by a nihilistic death cult following arachnoid species called the Charon, who wish to end all life in the universe in the name of the void of death. Billions of them, constantly trying to develop a hyperdrive to invade. Objects in hyperspace don't actually exist in real space, so they're considered non-mass. Another aspect of hyperspace is a naturally occurring phenomenon called S-threads. S-threads, also known as simutunnels, are narrow tunnels in hyperspace that communication waves can fit through and will travel exponentially faster than anything else traveling through hyperspace, allowing near instant communication from one end of the galaxy to the other. But the only way you could send and receive through these S-threads was with the really big transceivers like on capital ships. So the goal of the HoloNet was to connect these S-threads, so that more people could afford to send and receive hyperwaves with their cheaper hyperwave transceivers. So HoloNet relays were built and placed in static positions in hyperspace, not existing in real space. Therefore, it became known as non-mass communication. And it didn't just take hundreds or thousands of stations like Subspace requires. The HoloNet requires millions of relay stations to cover just Republic space. It was a massive endeavor, but with the advent of the HoloNet, people not only got instant audio and video transmissions, they now had the ability to have hologram calls to anywhere in the Republic. S-threads in hyperspace were incredibly secure, so they couldn't be intercepted. The only way to intercept or corrupt a HoloNet message was to actually tamper with a relay station itself. Every system in the Republic could now watch Senate updates in real time. And for the first time in history, distant planets could share cultural ideas through news, sports, entertainment, porn, and citizens of the Republic gained a new feeling of belonging in the galaxy. And they started getting extra freaky. That's probably why the Senate commissioned the whole thing. But there were some caveats to the HoloNet. First off, it was government controlled, so it was always monitored, and every transmission was logged in the relay stations as something passed through them. It was also expensive to send data over the HoloNet. We're talking thousands of credits per second of data transfer. Imagine tricking someone into accepting a collect call so they pay for it and then they talk real slow. So it was expensive to send data, but you could receive data a lot easier. HoloNet relays themselves are unfathomably expensive to produce and cost a fortune a day to maintain. So the Senate started collecting HoloNet fees from planets in the Republic in order to maintain the relays. And lastly, the Outer Rim and non-Republic systems were excluded from the HoloNet due to costs. It wasn't until 22 years before the films that was even considered expanding the HoloNet to the Outer Rim, which was delayed indefinitely due to financial squabbling in the Senate. That meant more than 250,000 worlds didn't get HoloNet access, which is something Separatists took advantage of during the Clone Wars. They had an easier time pulling worlds to their side that the Republic didn't provide HoloNet access to. Also, at the beginning of the war, the Republic restricted large amounts of the HoloNet from the public in order to cripple Separatist communications and reduce sympathy towards the Separatist movement. But this also crippled free speech and damaged citizens' trust with the Senate. Despite the Republic's censorship, the CIS still sliced into HoloNet relays and sent their own versions of war news and propaganda. This was known as the CIS shadow feed. And then when the Clone Wars ended and Palpatine assumed power and established the Galactic Empire, he shut down the majority of the HoloNet and the Empire regulated all transmissions. The flow of information changed drastically. All negative coverage and atrocities of the Empire were obviously excluded from the news. HoloNet broadcasts were now riddled with Imperial alerts and rebel terrorist propaganda, and rebels couldn't risk even trying to send a HoloNet message because all the transmissions were logged and dated. It was basically North Korea. So a lot of people in the galaxy reverted back to subspace transmissions, delivering physical data, or giving messages to couriers on their trade routes. And despite gimping the HoloNet for everyone else, Palpatine continued to collect the usual HoloNet maintenance funds from every system in the Empire, and then funneled those credits towards his navy and the Death Star's construction. Imperial probe droids were also fitted with HoloNet transceivers. Probe droids were originally developed during the Old Republic to colonize and map the unknown regions of the galaxy. But Palpatine stopped colonization efforts when he came to power, and then he got intel that the YUUZHAN VONG existed in the unknown regions, and he was like, fuck all that bullshit. So Viper probots were repurposed for military recon. They were given sensors, stealth features, a blaster, self-destruct to prevent capture and reprogramming, and hyperwave transceiver, making it one of the most revolutionary war intelligence tools in Star Wars. And then when the Empire fell and the New Republic was established, HoloNet access was restored to the galaxy with more freedom and accessibility than ever before. It was a golden age of communication. That was until the YUUZHAN VONG invaded. Aside from killing millions and taking numerous planets, even destroying a planet, the YUUZHAN VONG also sabotaged the HoloNet. They bioengineered something called the Magubat Khan, an organism that could produce powerful gravitational fields and travel through hyperspace. The Magobot Khan was able to sense and track down HoloNet relays in hyperspace, and then create singularities to destroy them, crippling communications for the Galactic Alliance. And then eventually the YUUZHAN VONG were defeated, and these relays were repaired. So does every movie and piece of Legends material get these communication rules consistent? The short answer is, kind of, yeah. I was just reading The Courtship of Princess Leia and was surprised to see Leia making a HoloNet call to Luke and noting the cost of the call was getting expensive, so they hung up. But it does get a little messy when you try to make sense of movie communications. For example, Kamino is on the Outer Rim, so there are no HoloNet relays. But Obi-Wan is still able to make a hyperwave call all the way to Coruscant. So his Delta 7 fighter must have had a powerful enough transceiver to contact Coruscant, something only capital ships should be able to do, allegedly. Or to at least to hit a HoloNet relay in the mid-rim. And then he gets to Geonosis and his signal isn't strong enough, so he has to ask Anakin on Tatooine, another Outer Rim planet, to relay the message. Okay, makes sense. But in episode 3 he's on Utapau, which is way out in the sticks. But he makes a hyperwave call from there to Senator Organa, who's apparently just over Coruscant. So either transceivers used by the military just got better and better by episode 3, and then that technology was lost after the Clone Wars, or we just shouldn't worry about these communication rules at all. Thanks for watching, but no, a lot of these rules were set up retroactively from the movies, so there are inconsistencies. And maybe George Lucas just wasn't thinking about these things. Despite that, I still went ahead and guessed every form of communication in all 6 Legends movies. So here you go.
As you know, our blockade is perfectly legal. Is that legal? Destroy what's left of them.
Sir!
Is Queen Amidala Hassa?
Yes, Viceroy.
To accept your control of the system.
We're losing droids, fast.
Not full of Sith.
Not in the amounts you're talking about.
All right, I'm sure another solution will present itself.
Receiving a message from home.
We'll be right there.
We must bow to their wishes. You must contact me.
It sounds like bait to establish a connection trace.
We could be stuck here a very long time.
A ship without a power supply isn't going to get us anywhere. I need a midichlorian count.
Broadcast to catch up with the leaders.
Boys here to see Padme.
I'm sending my apprentice, Darth Maul, to join you.
We already located a starship in the swamp. It appears to be made up of primitives. I thought the battle was going to take place far from here.
Fighters, straight ahead.
Roger, Bravo, leader.
I think he's a good man.
I sense it too. There it is, R4.
They are using a bounty hunter named Jango Fett to create a clone army.
The transmitter is working, but we're not receiving a return signal. Coruscant's too far. R4, can you boost the power?
That's Anakin's tracking signal, all right. But it's coming from Tatooine.
Retransmit this message to Coruscant.
We will deal with Count Dooku. Protect the Senator at all costs.
The one crawling with vulture droids.
Oh, I see it. Oh, this is going to be easy. R2, activate elevator
311774.
R2, activate elevator 3224.
R2, get down here.
Yes, Lord Sidious.
What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
Palpatine thinks General Grievous is on Utapau. A partial message was intercepted in a diplomatic packet from the chairman of Utapau.
General Kenobi has made contact with General Grievous.
Execute Order 66.
Execute Order 66. It will be done, my lord.
My clone troops turned on me. I need help.
Darth Vader arrives. He will take care of you.
I will be there.
He'll be expecting you.
The Separatists have been taking care of my master.
It is finished, then.
Hurry! Careful timing we will need.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Yes?
We've captured a freighter entering the remains of the Alderaan system.
TK-421, why aren't you at your post?
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Yes.
We have an emergency alert in detention block AA-23.
I didn't copy. I said all systems have been alerted to your presence, sir. Come in, 3PO! Use the comlink. Oh my, I forgot. I turned it off. Are you there, sir? 3PO! 3PO! Listen to them. They're dying, R2.
C-3PO, do you copy?
Yes, sir.
Are you safe?
For the moment.
Run, Luke, run!
We've lost the lateral controls!
Don't worry. She'll hold together.
Yes.
We're approaching the planet Yavin.
All wings report in.
Red 10 standing by.
Red 7 standing by.
Red 3 standing by.
Luke, trust your feeling. We've picked up a new group of signals. Enemy fighters coming your way.
Stay in attack formation.
Negative.
Negative. It didn't go in.
Use the Force, Luke.
You switched off your targeting computer. What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm all right. Look out.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Echo 3 to Echo 7. Hano, buddy, do you read me?
You will go to the Dagobah system.
Dagobah system?
This is Rogue 2. Good morning. Nice of you guys to drop by. I didn't hit it that hard. Must have had a self-destruct.
An Imperial probe droid.
That's it. The rebels are there. You are in command now, Admiral Yet.
The first transport is away.
Echo Station 3T8.
We have spotted Imperial walkers.
Echo Station 5-7, we're on our way.
I've reached the main power generators. The shield will be down in moments. You may start your landing.
There's nothing wrong, R2. Just setting a new course.
Han, get up here!
Yep, that's it.
And that Lord Vader was the last time they appeared in any of our scope.
Can it be done?
He will join us or die.
The boy has no patience.
He will learn patience.
There's an awful lot of moisture in here. Permission granted to land on platform 327.
Thank you.
Even Yoda cannot see their fate.
Hurry!
Attention, this is Lando Calrissian.
Leia! Lando?
Father.
Chewie!
Luke, we're ready for takeoff.
You are cleared to proceed.
We're starting our approach.
Greetings, Exalted One. Allow me to introduce myself.
Thanks for coming after me. Now I owe you one.
That's right, R2. We're going to the Dagobah system. There is still good in him.
He's more machine now than man.
Please identify.
Shuttle Tidarium requesting deactivation of the deflector shield.
All fighters accounted for.
Proceed with the countdown.
All wings report in.
Red Leader standing by.
It's a trap!
Fire at will, Commander.
Our cruisers can't repel firepower of that magnitude.
And we'll have that shield down. We've got to give him more time.
The rebels have been routed. They're fleeing into the woods.
The shield is down. Commence attack on the Death Star's main reactor.
So there you have it. What a wonderful galaxy of communication and HoloNet we have here. If you liked the video, consider sharing it with a friend, subscribe, comment, like, do whatever the hell you want. Thank you to my patrons for making this video more possible. Over on the Patreon, you'll get some behind the scenes updates and access. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.
The legend will never die.